Aloha, beautiful family. Bliss here to do a little touch-in on this miracle moment, this miracle. Why do we use the word miracle? Because miracle is a shortcut out of the genetics. It's connected to the 35th gene. The 35th gene is the shortcut. Wormholes and miracles. And that's why we started using that word for time many miracle years ago, because we were standing in a lineup and we were experiencing this sense of separation and suffering. And even though my heart knew that I had no connection to this suffering that I was feeling, my mind was perpetuating this sense of suffering. And so it was creating this disconnect between my heart and my mind. And so I was asking the guidance while I was standing in this lineup, what is causing this sense of suffering that I know isn't real and doesn't exist? And the guidance said, that's because you still have a relationship with time. And time elongates the experience of what we call separation. And so just end your contract with time and renew your relationship with the miracle, and that will change everything. And so that's why we use the languaging of the miracle. We speak a lot of different words in this transmission, and they all have a very specific purpose. So thanks for tuning in on the 1212 portal, even though time isn't real and doesn't exist, and even though the 1212 portal isn't real and doesn't exist. Point being, everything is symbolic. And so that's how, when we speak in this transmission, we're speaking in a symbolic language, and we reference symbols that have a value to them that we place behind them. So this is going to be a fun LoveStream on this miracle. So when we were standing in that long lineup and we were having that experience of separation from the place of the mind, and the guidance said, release your contract with time and reconnect with miracle. What the guidance was showing is that we have so many miraculous experiences in our life. And when we're in an experience of time, those miracles feel like there's separation between them. So synchronicity occurs and it's so great and we get up-leveled, and then we go back into the mundane. And then maybe another miracle or synchronicity happens 10 months, 10 years, 10 minutes later. And in between those miracles, the mind in the fictional fiction is on automatic. And when the mind is on automatic, there are all kinds of unconscious, irrational programs running through the mind, because the head is just kind of an antenna to a sea of information. And just like pebbles dropped in the water, there's all kinds of thoughts floating around in the collective field of awareness. So if we experience a miracle, and then we have this contract with time, and the next miracle occurs, that separation in between, called time, when the mind is on automatic and unconscious or conscious, unnecessary program pattern behaviors keep perpetuating through the mind's awareness. That is what is creating the overall experience of one's life. And it is also what is programming the frequency, so to speak, even though where we're going has nothing to do with frequency. But those thought fields sustain a frequency. They sustain an energy in the body. They sustain an energy in our complete experience. And so even though the miracle happens here and a miracle happens there, because in those moments of miracle, we're in pure awareness, that dominant underlying perpetuating frequency is what is really affecting our perception of our overall experience. So back to when I was standing in that long lineup. when the guidance said, end your contract with time and restore your relationship with the miracle, what I instantly saw was all these miraculous experiences that I had had in my life. Synchronicities, little things, big things, things that were epiphanies, things that made me go, oh my gosh. That's what I saw. I saw a field of all of these synchronicities, just like stars in the sky. And I knew exactly, I could see the stars. I could see the miracles all throughout my field of pure awareness. I just didn't see any connection in between those stars. So that lower dominant unconscious frequency that I was allowing to run through me, that was connected to linear time, move from point A to point B, do this, do that, project out into the future, next week, schedules, timetables, all those things, was the linear left brain program that was really dominating my overall experience. And in that moment that I saw all the miracles, my whole physical and energetic experience shifted. It shifted and aligned with that feeling of the miraculous. And so in that moment I could see, I got it. Okay, right now I end my contract with time. And I could just see that my energy sending these little light lines out between all those stars that represented the miracles that I had experienced. And in those lines connecting all those dots called miracles, suddenly this new matrix of light formed around me, and I transformed. I instantly transformed. Something shifted electromagnetically, something shifted energetically in my field. I had had an epiphany that was alchemical at the level of my physicality. And I had connected into this whole new neural network around me that I just hadn't connected into or connected together before. And so my relationship with time shifted, it dissolved. And suddenly this new field of energy and information that had occurred at a level beyond the mundane was guiding me. And so that's why we use the word miracle instead of time. So that's just a little thing that people can play with to literally create a cosmic shift in their experience. Forever, sustained. Forever isn't real and doesn't exist because we're timeless beings and time isn't real. Nonetheless, if you want to experience a great shift, play around with that idea, and I promise something will shift. Alchemically. Alchemically means at the level of the physicality. When something shifts alchemically, it's like a phase shift into literally a completely different, in the fictional fiction they call it dimensions, but we don't because dimensions are separation. An alchemical phase shift of pure awareness. So it's an alchemical phase shift. When we have an alchemical phase shift, things become more refined, more subtle, less dense, less complicated, less complex, less complicated. We want to say both words at the same time. Things become more spacious. When we have an alchemical transfiguration, things become more spacious at every level of our awareness and perception. So that's pretty cool, because what we're saying is we are the captain of our light ship. And these are very simplistic ways to shift. Perception is our key. It's really our key to our transformation of our relation with creation. So as we transform our relation with creation itself, everything transforms with we. Today's transmission is inspired by a 3-day meditation we're currently offering, and it's called The Great Transfiguration. And the Great Transfiguration is really of our transformation out of, we're going to use some words here and then we're going to up-level them. The Great Transfiguration is our transformation from the old operating system called a mental processor to the new operating system, which is really beyond an operating system, called pure awareness. And in the field of pure awareness, we have an electromagnetic shift that really dissolves the electromagnetic frequency in totality, and we become one with the field. So electromagnetics are what actually create polarity, and polarity is what creates that sense of separation, the illusion of separation. So when we make the alchemical shift from the old operating system, just like a caterpillar is dissolving off the last brittle pieces of the cocoon, that's what's happening for our human family on the planet. Everyone at their own phase in the transfiguration or the metamorphosis. The alchemical shift is to release in totality the electromagnetic bonds that imprint the spirit or the pure awareness with the sense or perception of time and gravity. And so as we shift out of the old operating system and we cast that sarcophagus off, we cast that cocoon off, we cast that straitjacket off, the electromagnetic straitjacket that has held the personality in place, that has perpetuated a sense of individuation for an experience, just like having a car. You get a different kind of car, you get a different kind of experience. We had different kinds of personalities, we got different kinds of experiences. Now we're all trading in the cars, or we're giving back the cars. And as we move into that pure awareness, where there is no dissonance, there is no resistance, the egoic blueprint that was electromagnetic emanated a field of resistance, and that field of resistance is what actually allowed us to have the field of separation and individuation. So as we cast that off, we energetically begin to feel one with everything. We become one with the cosmic ocean that sources all life. We could call it the blackness of space. We could call it pure awareness. People call it all kinds of things, higher self, God. It's irrelevant what the name is. We just seek to find words that are the clearest to convey what we's experience of it, which is just pure awareness. So pure awareness is non-polarized, and it's non-judgmental, and it's non-biased in the way that it's just a field of. And sometimes words like infinite are used to describe it, but infinite is really not an accurate word. The way that we have experienced it, the best way to describe it really is the blackness of space. And we can be aware of both the blackness of space and what appears to be physicality simultaneously, and what appears to feel like and be our body simultaneously. We can be all of it. We can be physical and non-physical simultaneously. And that's what this transmission is really conveying. So if this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. So this online 3-day transmission meditation that we're doing for these 3 days, we started on Sunday, we had one today, and we're doing one tomorrow. If you're interested, there are recordings available, and all the links are in the description box to sign up. So what the transmission and the meditations is really about is to assist people to just release those final parts of the cocoon around us, to exit the perception of that electromagnetic individuation, and to be one in, or one with, or be pure awareness itself. And as we come into that perception of pure awareness, or being the field, the blackness of space, everything becomes very spacious. And everything that we've known as humans, the whole lexicon to describe the human experience, begins to fall off. Words, emotions, feelings, entire dictionaries and libraries that define the human experience all begin to dissolve away. Very powerful piece. In that dissolution and that perception of pure awareness, the communication that we have is symbolic. So we've come from a very left brain logical experience in the Western world. Everything about the Western world was designed for the left brain. And Steve Jobs, who has been communicating for probably about a year now, and very much recently, has been sharing why he came forth and created Apple. Because he could see that the other way, called the PC, was very left brain. And he felt it was very important to bring something into the collective field of consciousness that didn't stream the entire collective down that pathway of bits and bytes of data of the left brain. So as we exit the Microsoft bits and bytes of data, so to speak, speaking symbolically here and literally, as we exit the old operating system of base 10, ones and zeros, yes sir, no sir, we exit that indoctrinated way that the Western world has been living. We come into the blackness of space, pure awareness. And in that field of pure awareness, everything is inside of us rather than outside of us, because we become the field itself. And the field communicates, so to speak, through symbols. And so we had a very special download from the man who named himself as a symbol, who was once known as man named as Prince. Prince has often come to we along the way, actually doing a lot of the grid work on the planet. He's come to we at very specific times and shown me very specific things. So recently I saw a little Instagram post with the man who gave himself the name of a symbol, or the symbol of a symbol, as his essence. And very powerful post. It's an Instagram post. We put the link for that Instagram post of the man who chose a symbol to convey his essence. And we put the link for that post in the description box as well if you want to check it out. So we saw it a little while ago, and this being is receiving an award. And he's sending a very descriptive symbol at the opening of his thank you speech. And when he was conveying that symbol, we Bliss got such a good message from the star being. He showed because we've been clearing the fields for all collective humanity out of all the imprints of consciousness and all the imprints of the DNA, he showed me one symbol, showed me all the blackness of space. Didn't say anything and simultaneously did. He was going, it's the last symbol to clear, beloved sister. The last discordant symbol to clear out of the space. The symbol he showed me was pi. Never made sense to me in school. I was a pretty smart kid. I got A+ in school. I did physics, I did chemistry, I did biology, did great at English Lit, all-around student. And there was a lot of concepts being taught in school that I would work really hard to wrap my mind around. One of the beautiful things about the post from the being that emanated his essence through a symbol is he was saying, there's a battle going on and it's happening in the mind. So in the fictional fiction, the Western world is coming from a very mental place. Very little connection to nature and very little connection to the right brain. So we're sharing this to assist exiting the old operating system and welcome home to pure awareness on this miracle day, even though days aren't real and don't exist. It's fun to use the word because it rhymes with a lot of things. And the transmission of an oracle is rhythmic, and it conveys something in the space between the words, just like that little signal from that version of we self that used a symbol to convey his essence. So this version of we self, who once had the name Prince, is conveying a message and shows to we the symbol of pi. We went, I got it. Bye-bye, pi. Pi never made sense to we. A lot of things, as we shared, that were taught in schools and universities didn't make sense. We were guided to do a little research on pi for one of the transmissions we were doing recently with the pot. And if you look up the word pi, there's a lot of funny descriptions, like this, not a regular, let's see if we can find this, how it was described. Like irrelevant. That just came out of my mouth. The word that describes pi is like the unusual or the irregular number of. Amory of Light, can you find that word? Is it in the post? Anyways, doesn't matter. We'll move forward here. The description of pi in this article was calling it like this. Basically, it was saying it's a hoax. I'm going to just cut through the words. Pi is a hoax. And if pi is a hoax, everything in the creation of the Western world and Western sciences is a big, fat, you know what, joke. It's a joke. And the human awareness and energy has been focused on a lot of things that are not real. They're concoctions, just like in the fictional fiction. Recently on a LoveStream, we talked about the book of Revelations. And we said there was some really cosmic sci-fi writers that wrote that book. No offense to anyone who loves the book, it's just great fiction. Because what we've been sharing in the transmissions is the truth about what it was saying is we're pure awareness. And so the good parts of the teachings were left out, like breath, yoga, meditation, cold water. We keep saying all these things. Plant-based diet, so on and so on. To come home to pure awareness. So a lot of what has been intellectually debated in all of the Western sciences, the Western world, universities, all of it, all that intellectual stuff is bunk. And so the planetary body is going through her shift, just in case we didn't figure it out, moving us into gamma states to help us release electromagnetic connection with all that bunk, electromagnetic connection to the personalities that were entwined in creating the tapestry of all that bunk. So when the man whose name used to be Prince showed we the symbol of pi and went, "Go for it, sister. This one's for you." Knock it out of the ballpark forever. Knock it out of the blackness of space so that we completely clear this field and all can pass through. So we did. We placed our awareness on it and we dissolved the symbol of pi in totality. As that symbol is gone, the dismantling and unraveling in totality of everything associated with what that symbol represented is gone. And so as we move from the old operating system that is a mental processor and we come into pure awareness itself, everything is symbolic. And this transmission is being shared to bring our awareness back to the blackness of space, that pure awareness, that field that we are, and our capacity to dissolve symbols that are all around us just by placing our awareness on them, or placing our focus on other symbols in that pure source consciousness field, instantly takes us from that mental processor of suffering and separation connected to time and into that cosmic field of the miracles that we were sharing earlier on. It's like the cosmic leap out of and into simultaneously, into that whole new awareness and what we would call circuitry for being both physical and non-physical simultaneously and having fun playing as both physical and non-physical beings. So these transmissions, these meditations over these 3 days have been assisting those to come into that space, and we're sharing a lot of what has been coming through the transmissions in the last few miracle weeks. The holding on tightly to what was or any of our perceptions of what it is to be human. This is the emotional criteria for human. You can have any of these emotions listed in this box. This is the mental criteria for human, and you can have any of these criteria ticked off for your mental processor, and this is your physical processor, and so on and so on and so on. So we're breaking out of the mold in totality. And the Bardos is a place where one can get stuck in the birth canal of mentally trying to dissolve the ego while not alchemically succeeding. So we got to bring it all together through all the simple processes that work to bring us into a whole brain state that allow more spirit to come into the form. Cold water is really good at that one. Lymphatic breath, which we've shared many miracles. Maybe one of the pod can put the 20 miracle minute lymphatic breath in the comments here for anyone who hasn't discovered it yet. Slows down the nervous system. Very important. Relaxation of the body, so that we're not trying to do this in a mental way. We're literally sliding our consciousness out of. It's kind of like the guidance is showing, like when one sticks their hand maybe into I'm seeing boulders. You stick your hand in because you're trying to get something in those boulders that maybe you dropped your keys or something. And it's such a tight fit in the boulders that you have to really slip your arm out carefully. So that's what we're doing. We're slipping our awareness out through relaxation and taking back the physical body from the survival mechanisms to slide our awareness out in totality from the old blueprint, the ego, the creations, the cult of personality, all the relations. This is just shortcut because we're all going to the same place. So if we try to hold on to anyone or anything, it doesn't make sense because there is one field of pure awareness here in the great migration of the transfiguration. So we're just sharing some articulation to soothe or ease the experience in the transformation, to go, wow, this really makes sense. I get it. I don't even want to have a mental processor anymore. It's not comfortable. My body heats up. I get all kinds of experience. I start feeling dizzy. I'm overwhelmed. That's because the mental processor is on overdrive. So what does one do? One chooses things that brings one into a relaxed state. In the relaxed state, we don't have to feel what is happening anyways, which is the old-fashioned mental processor is burning out or burned out. The field of pure awareness is so spacious. And in our oneness of, with, merging, essence, becoming the field of pure awareness, becoming the field, then we have the spaciousness for the field to just bring symbols in. A symbol will show up. We probably shared this in another LoveStream, maybe not, but we'll just share a few pieces here about the symbols to get the feeling for this shift. So as we exit those old systems, and we've all learned coherence because the collective creation assisted all of us to release all the aspects of our old creations. Symbols can be filled with information. So we use the metaphor of a symbol of a basketball. If I'm in oneness with pure awareness and I'm in a very relaxed state and I see a basketball, maybe I think of high school, played basketball, blah, 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 information, the feelings I was having then, communication. If I'm a famous NBA basketball player and I see a basketball as a symbol that shows up in the field, that communication is filled with information. That symbol is filled with information. And so that one symbol is superabundance beyond, cosmic superabundance of nourishment, of information, of everything. Because that symbol for the NBA basketball player is filled with their entire journey. It's filled with the story. It's filled with love. It's filled with abundance. It's filled with the personality. So this is what the shift is. When we find the processes that are simple, lymphatic breath, cold showers, plant-based diet, fasting, yoga, meditation, nature, grounding, things that I'm sure everyone who is watching this is doing, because there's only one of us here. We're doing all those things. So just, this is playful, and this is where it gets really good and really fun, because all the complexity dissolves away. The purity of the field is restored. And when the symbols come, the communication is cosmic. And we can place our awareness on that symbol in such a way that the more awareness we place on it, the more information that unpacks or unlocks or unfolds from it. And that symbol begins to open up entire worlds. This is the step by meticulous step Flight Lessons 101 process of our consciousness restoring its awareness of our capacity to materialize and dematerialize, be physical and non-physical, collapse the wave back into pure awareness and restore the wave, restore the hologram in a new creation, just by placing our awareness on the symbol that shows up, because the symbols now are all benevolent, because we cleared out the final symbol from the field that was not, called pi. So the benevolent symbols in this pure awareness, very spacious oneness, no electromagnetic dissonance, no separation from, the symbols are seeds of entire new creations. Pleiades for blueberry, spirulina, popcorn. Sure, let's do it. This is where we have come. Out of the old operating system, very limited, very Microsoft. Into unity and oneness. Sovereign awareness. Sovereign awareness means our full pure laser-like focus, unencumbered from interference. Our full sovereign focus on a symbol. Think golden apple in the palm of the hand, produce golden apple in the palm of the hand. By placing our focus on the symbol. The symbol might not look like a golden apple in the field, or it might. Be open and curious to the field of pure awareness. Be open to what comes. And when we place our focus on it, that, like the sun and the rain nourishing a new seed, welcomes its germination, welcomes its fruition into form, just like the holographic nature of our physicality and our physical reality. This is how we did it. This is how we made the shift into true superabundance. True superabundance. Sovereign, pure awareness as one with the field. Simplistic symbols will come, and they hold all the information for the most magnificent creations. Pure potential. Joyous 1212 as a symbol of completion and graduation from, and embodiment of pure awareness. We so much. If this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. If you're interested in receiving recordings or joining us for day 3 of the Meditation Tomorrow Miracle, there is a link for the meditation and how to join. If you want to see the really cool little message conveyed to we by that version of we self-named Prince for the final symbol that we cleared, that link is in the description box. And at the bottom of the description box, we put a really funny song. Forgot the name of the creator, but his name will be on the link, and the song is called I Am Spiritual, for a good laugh. To realize it was all a big game. It was quite a journey. We'll say it was a whole lot of fun. And let's get on with pure creation. We love so much.